Zoomer, you raise a very interesting point. I do not believe that the destruction of Yisaraj was in any way, shape, or form an accident. I don't believe it. Not for a second. I don't think that Aman'Thul ripped Yisaraj out of the planet and then went, oopsie. No. I think the creation of the Well of Eternity was 100% by design. If you think about what the Titans did to the Well of Eternity, because according to them, the Well of Eternity was disruptive. It was unstable. And then what did they do? They did the exact same thing to the Well of Eternity than what they did to the waters at the Ruby Life Shrine. Go read the story of how the aspects and the Watchers duped the Incarnates into losing all of their children. They physically infused the water with arcane essence in order to order the dragon eggs before they're even born. So one day, Veranoth was literally standing there looking at one of her babies being born, and this baby came out looking like a dragon and not like a drake. That's how she found out that her children were being morphed against their will despite the promises made. Then you look at the similarities with the Well of Eternity and you realize the Titans always wanted the Well of Eternity, because the Well of Eternity allowed them an order, an access or an avenue to order previously unimaginable. Because the Well of Eternity would spread its order influence all throughout. Right? Almost all beings are ordered thanks to the Well of Eternity. Because the Well of Eternity is now this newfound source of fresh, drinkable, invigorating water. All of the beings that would flood there in order to find life would also, against their will, find order. So I would not be in any way, shape, or form surprised if I learned that Aman'Thul did that shit 100% on purpose. And then, of course, he couldn't tell us that he literally ripped out an old god on purpose, nearly destroying the world. So they said, oh, it was just an accident. And you're like, bro, what do you mean this was just an accident? There's a lot of questionable things about the Titans. It is said that the Titans go throughout the great beyond looking for other nascent world souls. That's literally what they say in the Chronicles. Sargeras is the one that goes around slaying demons, right? How is it that the first time the Titans come into contact with old gods is Azeroth? Like, how is that even possible? That makes no sense whatsoever. Well, Monsieur, yes, we know that it's Order Juices, right? Because we know that the trolls that settled near the shores of the Well of Eternity became Elven, right? So we know that the Well of Eternity had Order influence. I would say that I will go so far as to say that everything the Titans have done on Azeroth has been wildly questionable. Wildly. I don't know. I fail to see how I can trust the Titans. They have purposefully lied to us time and time again. They have purposefully twisted the truth time and time again. In fact, their lies are so crazy that even their own Watchers refuse to believe them. Because we have the story in Dragonflight of the Watchers fleeing the Titan control and going to Avaloran, and then Tyr actually saying, despite what many of you would like to argue about, does anything actually exist before it has been ordered? So Tyr is saying, I know many of you question the idea that the Titans created everything. I know that. But where you guys are missing the point is that nothing can be created if it has not been ordered first, which is like complete and utter bullshit, right? Obviously, things can absolutely be created without the aspectal view of the Titans being that this has not been ordered yet and therefore it does not exist yet. That's just so much from the Titan perspective rather than like the actual truth. And we know that the actual Watchers, and these are beings that were created by the Titans, just they even rejected it. Like even they were like, nah, fam, this is a bit much, right? So I would argue it always goes back to the same thing. If you ask me, are the Titans evil? My answer is, from whose perspective? Because I do believe that it is a perspective view. I don't believe that you can look at any of the great cosmic forces in World of Warcraft and say good, bad, evil. Because it all depends on the perspective that you're viewing them through. If you are a Titan, then are the demons evil? Yep. Are the Void evil? Yep. If you're a Void Lord, are the Titans evil? Yep. Are the demons evil? Yep. Is the light evil? Yep. Right, so it all depends on the viewpoint. From whose perspective are we looking? Was Arthas evil? Great question. Was Arthas evil? So from this, it is important that we differentiate between Arthas pre-Frostmourne and Arthas post-Frostmourne, right? Arthas pre-Frostmourne, I do not believe was evil. Despite what people would like to claim, I don't believe that Arthas pre-Frostmourne did anything that was evil. I think Arthas in many ways were misled, but evil has intention behind it, right? There's an intention of evil. Arthas did what he did because he truly believed he was saving his people. And if anyone wants to bring up Stratholme, my question has always been exactly the same. What else should Arthas have done? In fact, I believe the two people that should carry all of the weight and blame for Arthas's fall is Uther and Jaina. Because Uther and Jaina, knowing what they know, decided to choose the coward's way out rather than doing what was necessary. You have a plague that is physically incurable. Nothing can cure this plague. The plague changes everyone it touches into a mindless scourge. Right? These are zombies that don't operate like zombies because they have someone controlling them. If you allow Stratholme to exist, these zombies will change the entirety of Lordaeron into undead in no time flat. They will all turn into Scourge. Arthas knows this. He knows that there is no way to quarantine this because it's too dangerous. If you do quarantine them, you will have to fight them daily. You'll have to continuously fight them. Even more than that, if even one escapes without your knowledge, you're done. Right? You're done. Because that one will turn more, and then they will start running. And while you're quarantining Stratholme, the rest of your kingdom is falling around you. It is an impossible choice. I'm not suggesting that it's an easy choice. It's an impossible choice. But there is only one true avenue to make in that moment, and that is destroy the city. Because I want to keep everyone else safe, right? Now, where you could look at Arthas and say, maybe somewhat questionable, would be on the shores of Northrend, where he sinks his own ships and then blames it on another faction. Can't remember, he blamed it on someone. But even there, Arthas is acting out of naivety. Arthas is acting out of this, his main wants to turn around. They're tired, they're sick. Oh, he's mercenaries. He blamed it on the mercenaries. Yes, that's the one. Now, Arthas did the wrong things, but in his mind for the right reasons, right? Then once you get to Frostmourne, now things change entirely. Because now, suddenly Arthas is acting without a soul, because Arthas' soul is absorbed by Frostmourne. And Frostmourne has a will of its own, so in many ways Arthas is simply being led. Can you be evil if you don't know that what you're doing is evil? I don't think so. So fundamentally, after Frostmourne, we turn our eyes now to Zuval, right? Zuval becomes the guy pulling the strings. And in this, we have to ask ourselves, well, is Zuval evil? And again, we get to the place of from whose perspective? If Zuval truly believes that what the Titans did will lead to the destruction of all of the universe, then what Zuval is doing isn't evil from his perspective. It is trying to save life, even if that means killing billions, right? Or killing trillions if it saves quadrillions, right? Or whatever the word would be for more than trillions. You sort of run into... Once you go to that scale, it all depends on the perspective and also the presuppositions that you wish to look at. So, we could say, are the Titans evil? Well, what are your presuppositions? Because you can look at anything the Titans do, and if you already presuppose that the Titans are evil, then what they do is evil, right? If you presuppose that the Titans are good, then what they do is actually good and for the greater good. So it all depends on presuppositions. It all depends on the perspective from which we look. It's very difficult to nail down, I think, personally, like a fundamental truth in this regard. And I hope that answers the question in the most long-winded way possible.